inkotanyi zatwiciye abantu batatu, papa, mama na mushiki wanjye. Ubwo nawe mwana wishwe na Katyusha babaye bane. Tugerageza rero kubana na uriya murumuna wanjye, ntashoboye kumurera, nari mfite imyaka 17, we afite imyaka 4. Tugeraho tugira umuryango wavuye i Burundi, uraza hari mwene wacu w'umusirikare w'umukobwa, ubu ni umumama witwa Julienne, atushakira umuryango ngo tubane, kuko hari ikibazo cyo kubohoza amazu yabaga arimo abantu badafite kivugira, doko barazaga gufata inzu bakakuvanamo bati inzu yabohowe na fandi. Turabana, shobora kwiga bisanzwe, ntago nigeze ndihirwa na farije. Nashatse no kujya mu bintu byayibuka niki, ariko ugasanga abatutsi babirimo bambaza aho genocide yabaye ndi, bajya gukora iperereza bagasanga nubwo twacitse ku icumu, ariko ababyeyi direct bishwe n'inkotanyi, bituma nta burenganzira mbona na bumwe bw'abacitse ku icumu, ndetse binyigisha ibintu ari by'abantu benshi banambonaho ntibabyumve. Bo hagati aho nagiye muri universite, ntabwo byari birebire, ni Ruhande hari i Butare. Ariko icyo nshaka kukubwira,
universite wize yiki?
Ni ikoranabuhanga. Naho muri universite nahabaga ntafite ahantu ho kuba mu gihe cy'ibiruhuko, hagasigara abantu bacitse ku icumu gusa, kugera ubwo za 1998 kugera muri 2003 gutyo. Aho naho ntabwo nahabanye neza n'abantu, kubera yuko abana bose bacitse ku icumu babashyizemo yuko ntari uwabo, bahimba inkuru zitabayeho. Bamwe barahimba ngo ndi umwana wa Karamira Forodward, wari interahamwe ikomeye, abandi bavuga ko ndi uwa Bucyana Martin wari uwa Sederi, kugira ngo gusa abantu banyange kandi ntibibaze ibyambayeho, kugira ngo ibibi bya FPR byakoreye umuryango wanjye bitamenyekana. Ibyo rero byampaye isomo, ari naryo abantu babona nkoresha cyane, ibyo kugira ukuri no kutagira ubwoko na bumwe shyigikira.
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Rwandans, I am Michael Mopende, and today I wish to speak about the painful questions regarding truth, justice, freedom, and human dignity in Rwanda. I will discuss Aimable Karasira's death. The regime of Paul Kagame silenced Aimable Karasira because he dared to speak openly about the suffering and death inflicted under Kagame's rule. Karasira's crime was telling the truth about the deaths of his parents and sister, who he said were killed by R.I.P, FPR. The tragedies he personally witnessed and experiences that countless other Rwandans continue to endure in silence today. Karasira became a target because he voiced what many inside Rwanda fear even to whisper. In Kagame's Rwanda, the truth itself has become dangerous. As Karasira's prison sentence neared its end, many hoped he would finally walk free and once again see the world beyond prison walls. Instead, those in power denied him that chance. Through cruelty and political vengeance, his life was taken before his freedom could be restored. Under Paul Kagame's regime, any Rwandan who openly condemns injustice, questions abuses, or does criticize the regime risks persecution, imprisonment, disappearance, and death. Fear has become a governing instrument of the state in Rwanda. As long as Kagame continues to rule Rwanda as though it were his personal possession. No citizen can safely expose wrongdoing in Rwanda, more especially political violence and killings, and then you expect to remain safe. This is why voices such as Idamanje, Dieudonne Nsenga, Byabagamba Tom, J. Pole, Leti Kizito, disappeared Innocent Bahati, Moshaidi, and many, many others who challenged state abuses have faced imprisonment, intimidation, humiliation, and death. There is no other leader that I know of in the region and in the world that has maintained power through such an extensive climate of fear, repression, and political violence against his own people like Paul Kagame has done. For these last 32 years in power, Kagame's political journey became centered above all on securing and preserving power, regardless of the human cost. The devastating wars and political upheavals that shaped Kagame's Rwanda has left behind immeasurable sufferings and the death of vast numbers of Rwandans. Since then, Kagame has built an international image as the man who stopped the genocide, presenting himself as Rwanda's indispensable savior before the world. But that is not the case. I was there. Yet many survivors, witnesses to include me, former combatants, and critics all testify that the full truth of this narrative, Kagame's narrative, all remains untold and deeply contested. There was never a genuine operation or mission focused primarily on rescuing endangered Tutsi civilians during and after the 1994 genocide. The political and military objectives increasingly overtook humanitarian concerns as the conflict escalated. Once Juvenal Habyarimana was killed, the struggle rapidly, in accordance to Kagame, according to his plans, everything transformed into a battle for state power, regardless of the catastrophic consequences that would follow for ordinary Tutsi civilians and everybody else. In the aftermath of these events that I don't want to call these common names, because these common names are not common to me. Many survivors, those who escaped through forests, those who hid in fear, those who fled toward advancing RPF forces, or those who were rescued by organizations like International Red Cross Committee, those who survived in churches, all survived under unimaginable circumstances, but they were not rescued by RPF forces, as the narrative puts it. Yet numerous testimonies from former RPF members, survivors, both Hutus, Twas, and Tutsis, have accused Kagame's government of later targeting voices, dissenting voices, or political opponents, witnesses, of all those events and critics through intimidation, disappearances, imprisonment, and killings. The deaths and suffering associated with figures such as Kizito, Aimable Karasira, who just passed, Yvonne Damanje, Bahati Innocent, Mushahidi Deo, and many, many others continue to raise painful questions about the freedom, justice, reconciliation, and human dignity in Rwanda today. To sum it up all, everything is raising question about this dictatorship that has ensued on for the last 32 years of Kagame in power. Rwandans everywhere must not remain silent while fear and repression continue to consume lives one after another. A nation cannot heal where truth is feared and dissent is punished. May Aimable Karasira rest in peace. And may justice, truth, accountability, and genuine reconciliation one day prevail for all Rwandans. Let the memory of those who suffered and those who lost their lives remain, rather remind us that no nation can build lasting peace through fear and silence. True reconciliation can only exist where truth is allowed to speak freely, where justice applies equally to all, and where every citizen is treated with dignity and humanity. The future of Rwanda must belong to a people who are free to speak without intimidation, free to question without persecution, and free to live without fear. Thank you all for being with me today. Goodbye.